Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Free Idea Podcast. Today's subject, greedy America. One of the first deadly sins, I don't know if it's the first, but one of the deadly sins is greed. And when it becomes too much of a sin, it evolves to gambling. America is now having a problem with greed. Every company out there wants to charge you more and give you less. And despite the economic situation that we're all living, where everybody decided to charge more and give you less. They all know that we can afford little and they still charge more. That's greed. That is greed. Everybody's taking advantage of the situation to charge more and more and more and more. In fact, inflation is not even that bad. The recession is not even that bad. But the fact that everybody is at the same time increasing their prices is making it way worse than it should have been. It's like if you panic buy toilet paper for the COVID, except it's companies panic increasing their prices. And so, what can I say about that? Other than great in America, it's a thing. Mainly here is where I would see it, is where I live. But I do know that things are expensive everywhere, but not as expensive as here. This is extra expensive. And then there's always those so many taxes, like for your house. Once you buy it, you still pay taxes. So you're still essentially renting your own home because if you don't pay it, they'll take it. And then there's the other taxes that you can have on random things like processing fees on full online services that you are the one working. You're the one filling out those forms and keeping up with the payments. And somehow they still charge you a processing fee. In 2025, where AI can write you a 100-page thesis, but somehow your website for Willy Wonka's flavored nuts still charges you a $5 processing fee. So AI couldn't do it. I don't believe that. Greed, greed, greed. Now that greed has taken a hold of the prices, even if the economy is the best ever in the entire era of the humanity, prices will stay. They will not drop. If they do drop, it'll be very slow and it'll be looking like a sale. That's how they'll make it appear. But yeah, greed is a thing. Houses, if you notice houses, they're way, 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 way pricier than they should, especially in America, Europe. I could understand it because they're actually built real with real materials, and in Germany, their walls are real thick and real concrete, and a tornado wouldn't blow them away. But in America, you're buying a toothpick house with cardboard walls that are full of fungus and mold for $500,000 to a quarter. You're gonna pay it off for your entire life because let's face it, a 30-year loan is pretty much the entire life of most people who are able to buy a house. And it's all moldy. It's not even gonna increase in value. It's probably gonna break down on you. The ceiling is gonna fall on you. And they're all built terrible. Very badly, very, very badly. Lazy, too fast, without any checks and balances. It's just put the wood there, put the nail there. And if it's stuck, then thank goodness you got a good quality home. But we've all seen the videos of how they build the new homes, and it's bad, really bad. And then everything is HOA. So now you have to pay a monthly fee to live in your neighborhood so that people can tell you what to do on top of the taxes that you already pay at the end of the year. And people say, well, live in an HOA so that your prices and value of your home increases so that you can one day sell it. Yes, but if your house value increases, well, so does your taxes at the end of the year increase. They didn't think of that one, did they? So in fact, if I buy a home, I want my home to drop in value so that my taxes are cheaper. That would be even smarter idea. You need to have a drop in value. But they rarely, if ever, never drop in value, ever. The only, I don't even know if there will be like an asteroid have to hit somewhere near or chemical spill has to happen so that the houses in there decrease. But I don't even think that's how it works. I bet you there's a country out there where, like a state or city, where there's just poison and and chemicals, pesticides in the air from the farms and a nuclear plant nearby or two. And they're still just as pricey as living in Florida and LA. I bet you. I bet you greed in the US is astonishing. There's a reason why the sins are in the Bible. There's a reason why sins are sins. Because if left unchecked, they will take a hold of more than they should. They become, well, greed. You see it, greed. If greed becomes too high, it stops people from even having kids because nobody can afford to buy a house. And those who can just barely afford to have a kid. And those who can just afford to have one. And those who can will live very kid poor. I would say instead of house poor is a new term that I just made up, kid poor. That's how it is. That's greed. Thank you. Thank you for whoever is pumping up the greed over here. We left the church, so the sins followed. And then with that comes gambling. If you notice all commercials out there, it's all gambling, gambling NFL, gambling this, gambling that, put money here. Even in the stock market when the president was the thing, there was gambling on that. Who was gonna win, Trump or Biden or Kamala? It's just amazing how one scene leads to the other. Just gambling all over the place. And then well, people can't get jobs, so now they have to get into OnlyFans and sell their bodies. So that's the other sin. Now we have a surplus of only fan girls that need to make it work somehow. And that leads to them advertising all over the place where I don't even feel comfortable if my kid had a phone. I would give him a phone because, like, in 5 minutes, he'll find an OnlyFans girl in there because they get promoted since they're paying for it. So now it leads to the other sin, lust, at a much earlier age. I wouldn't be surprised if kids today are discovering porn at a much earlier age than before. I feel like back in my day, maybe the ages were around teenagers. What is it, 12, 13, around that age? Now it's probably 7 to 10. Uh, So there goes 3 sins so far. What's the other sin? Is pride a sin? I don't know, but there's an anime where pride was a sin. If it's a sin, America, it's oddly not there now, but it was. A lot of people are proud to be American, but no more. Because we've realized that all the cracks in our system are terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. How is it that how is it that I with insurance pay over $10,000 for the birth of my child, but my brother with no insurance paid $10,000? How is it that we paid the same, but insurance is supposed to make things cheaper? In fact, I think I paid more now because every visit of the doctor becomes like $300 for no reason. So I'm not gonna have insurance anymore. It's just how I see it. That's just how I see it. Insurance seems very nah, it's very weird. That's is that greed? That is greed. They privatize health. They privatized it. And if I want to get my family into insurance at my job, I'd have to pay $800 a month or per paycheck. I think it's 400 per paycheck, so that's 800 a month. That's just dumb. And at that point, I might as well just save it $100 a month and just pay for my own medical bills. Or like people I've heard of do it when they don't pay their bills, they get sent to collections and they forget about it. They just get called for like 6 to 10 years and they never pay them if you have the patience. So it makes no sense. But you know what makes sense? Greed. Greed America. We've been in a recession a long time ago. I don't know what year, but 2021, 2022, long time ago, I noticed that we were in one. Everybody did because I just watched the YouTube channels that tell me that we had. But it's still not being accepted. It feels now like they're closer to accepting it, but they kept changing the definition of a recession over and over and over and over to try to avoid it. I don't know why. Everybody already lives like they live in a recession. I already behave like I live in one from years ago. I haven't changed a thing. In fact, I'm just becoming more recessed now, more recessed, buying less organic products, less fancy food. And that's it, just food. I have already canceled a lot of subscriptions and I want to cancel some more. It's just how it is. That's already hitting. It's already hitting. So that's how I see it, my man. America has a problem. Greed. No what else to call it but that's what it is. Now let's go full on speed here in the highway. Woo! I hope that you can hear me. Oh yeah. Now that's how one speeds in the highway. Hell yeah. Hell to the yeah to the yeah. I'm about to get to work to the gritty work. It is what it is. Once a tax has been implemented, it never gets taken off. Never. No matter what the reason was for the tax, just doesn't get taken off. And I think our problem is that we get paid on directly to our bank and they do all the deductions math themselves. If it wasn't for the deductions, like imagine if it's like a credit card. As long as you don't see it, you don't feel it. But back when we used to pay all in cash, you would feel prices a lot more because it would be leaving your hands. Now that we don't use cash, now you can swipe your credit card and it feels just easier to do it. Well, same with our taxes and how they take them away. If somebody were to give you like $5,000, but then slowly started taking them off your hands, bill by bill, and being like, hey, 200 for this, 300 for healthcare. And like, wait a minute, I don't even have healthcare. What are you taking 300 for healthcare? I don't worry about it. 500 for breathing, and that'll be painful. And $20 just because I want $20 for the gas. But no, now it's just like they take it all out electronically so you don't feel it. I don't even look at what I actually earn. I never do. I just looked at my after tax. I don't even give a damn how much I earn before tax. Nothing but a wish. Nothing. It's just like somebody showing it to me to piss me off. So I don't even care. I just look at the after tax. Once I see the after tax, that's what matters. That's what actually pays my bills, and that's it. Nothing else. But yeah, why is greed in America such a thing? Very interesting. I mean, I guess it's just the aftermath of all that consumerism. We're all part of it, inescapable. But the sin of greed has deep hands in the country. Deep, deep hands. And it's making everybody feel it. Thank you.